I'm going to introduce you to my Aunt Lucile Paulno, who is now deceased, but she was born in 1911 and passed away December 26, 2006. She and I used an old-fashioned tape recorder, and I would ask her questions, and she would spend hours going through answering my questions, and then she would just take off on her own. So we have several CDs of her talking and pictures that we show and that go along with them. And what I'm going to be showing you today is her year that she spent at Belvedere High School in Belvedere, Illinois. She had gone 3 years to lived in Caledonia and went to school. It was either in Caledonia or Capron, and they had just 3 years of high school. So at that time, if you wanted to go on to school, you had to go to Belvedere or Rockford, and you actually had to board because the families could not come daily or weekly or even monthly to town to get their young people. So you would actually board out until Thanksgiving, and then you'd go home and you'd board out again after Christmas until the school year was over. So I'd like to share with you some clips of audio recordings that she put together for me, and it will give you an idea of some things that you could do with your own person that you're going to interview. Hopefully, you'll do this over the holidays. So please enjoy this.
Good sometimes. And then when we had finished like 3 years in Caledonia, that was the end of the high school session there, so we had to choose where we wanted to go for our senior year. And Caledonia paid the tuition, but we had to choose where we wanted to go. And so my sister Ruth chose Rockford, but I chose Belvedere, and because I could drive at the time, and so I could drive to school. And when she stayed in Rockford, she had to board with my aunt and walk to school. And Rockford High School at the time was just like a great big factory. We thought it was so large and everything, and so I was quite fond of Belvedere. There were about 75 in our class.
Was there only one Rockford High School?
Yes, one Rockford, and it was on the east side, right close to the river, along East State. Or no, along, wasn't East State, it was, the next one west of East State. No, it was right at the river, so it was right there, and it was
Whitman, Wyman?
No, it ran parallel with East State, the one that the high school was on. Yeah. Anyway, then so in 1929 I started at Belvedere High School, and so I took chemistry and history and sewing for half a year, and homemakers for half a year, and then I took bookkeeping because typing it was a 2-year subject, so I couldn't take it. I had to take bookkeeping instead. And our teacher was Jenny Tripp, and she was an old maid also, and she was almost ready to fire me as far as sewing because I couldn't use a thimble, and she couldn't figure out why. Well, finally she found out that my thumb is double jointed and the end goes back like this, and so I held the needle differently than anybody else would. They'd hold it like this, and I held it like this, and so I couldn't use a thimble. So then she forgave me, and I got a pretty good grade. But then she also taught our homemaking class, and we kind of gave her a hard time because she said she'd get talking kind of confidentially to us, and she said, "Now, girls," she said, "you must leave the dishes and things when your husband is there. She says you must leave the dishes. She said put them in the sink or put them under the sink. She said and leave them until he's out and gone, you know. And she said, and we objected. We said we didn't like a bunch of dirty dishes laying around, and so she gave us a failing grade for the day, which was F at that time, failure for the day when we disagreed. But then when